One moment on national television changed everything. Rich Eisen didn't just defend Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut. He absolutely demolished every critic who dared question the rookie quarterback's readiness. In less than 2 minutes, Eisen delivered a truth bomb so powerful it made the entire NFL world stop and reconsider what they thought they knew about this young quarterback. This isn't your typical NFL rookie quarterback story. This is about a player who walked into a league designed to break him, and instead started rewriting the rules from day one. While everyone was busy debating whether he deserved his shot, Shedeur Sanders was quietly building something that would silence every doubter in the most dramatic way possible. The whispers started long before Shedeur Sanders ever touched an NFL football. Critics were already sharpening their knives, ready to carve up another rookie who they claimed wasn't ready for the big leagues. The narrative was simple and brutal. He hadn't gotten enough practice reps. He was being thrown to the wolves, and when the lights came on, he'd crumble like every overhyped prospect before him. But these weren't just casual observations from armchair quarterbacks. These were pointed attacks from people who should have known better. Analysts who'd spent years watching football were suddenly acting like practice reps were the only thing that mattered for an NFL rookie quarterback. They painted Shedeur Sanders as some fragile rookie who needed his hand held through every step of his journey. The preseason became a weapon against him. Every missed practice, every snap he didn't take, was turned into evidence that he was unprepared. Critics acted like he was walking into his first game completely blind, as if football IQ and natural talent meant nothing compared to a few extra drills during August. What these so-called experts didn't understand was that some players don't need to be spoon-fed their way to greatness. Some players are born ready, and Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut was about to prove he was one of them. The stage was set for either a spectacular failure or a legendary first impression. The critics had placed their bets on failure. They were about to lose badly. When Rich Eisen stepped in front of the cameras that day, he wasn't just offering a different opinion. He was preparing to go to war. The usual suspects had fired their shots at the NFL rookie quarterback, questioning everything from his preparation to his character. And Eisen had heard enough of the nonsense. His response wasn't diplomatic or measured. It was a full-scale assault on lazy journalism and predictable narratives. Eisen tore apart the criticism piece by piece, exposing the flawed logic behind every attack on Shedeur Sanders. He called out the hypocrisy of analysts who claimed to know what the young quarterback was thinking or feeling without ever speaking to him. But the most devastating part of Eisen's defense came when he started naming names. He pointed directly at the sources of some of the harshest criticism and revealed them for what they really were: unreliable voices with questionable track records. The New York Giants, a team that had become synonymous with bad decisions and wasted potential, were among those spreading doubt about Shedeur Sanders' NFL readiness. Eisen's sarcasm was surgical. He made it clear that taking football advice from an organization that had repeatedly failed at evaluating talent was like asking a failed chef for cooking tips. The irony was thick, and Eisen made sure everyone could taste it. This wasn't just about defending one player. Eisen was calling out an entire system that thrived on tearing down young athletes before they even had a chance to prove themselves. His message was crystal clear. Judge Shedeur Sanders by what he does on the field, not by the lazy narratives being pushed by people with agendas. The sports media world suddenly had to reckon with an uncomfortable truth. Maybe they'd been wrong about this NFL rookie quarterback from the very beginning. While critics were busy questioning Shedeur Sanders' debut preparation, they conveniently ignored the mountain of evidence that suggested he was more prepared than most rookies in NFL history. This wasn't some random college player who got lucky in the draft. This was a quarterback who had been groomed for greatness from birth. Shedeur Sanders didn't just play college football. He dominated it at 2 different programs. He didn't transfer because he was running from competition. He transferred because he was chasing it. At Colorado, under the guidance of his father, Deion Sanders, he transformed a struggling program into must-see television. The preparation that critics claimed he lacked was actually built into his DNA. Growing up with a Hall of Fame father meant that football conversations at the dinner table were graduate-level courses in the sport. While other kids were playing video games, Shedeur Sanders was learning the mental aspects of quarterback play from one of the greatest athletes in sports history. His college stats weren't just impressive, they were historically good. But numbers only tell part of the story. The real proof of his readiness was in how he handled pressure, how he led comebacks, and how he elevated the play of everyone around him. These weren't skills you could teach in a few extra practice sessions. His position as a fifth-round pick wasn't a reflection of his talent. It was a reflection of how teams overthink obvious decisions. History is littered with late-round quarterbacks who became legends while first-round picks became footnotes. Shedeur Sanders' NFL journey was about to add another chapter to that story. Most importantly, his preparation wasn't just about X's and O's. It was about developing the mental toughness to handle criticism, the confidence to trust his abilities, and the leadership skills to command respect from teammates twice his age. These were qualities that couldn't be measured at the NFL Combine, but they were about to be displayed on the biggest stage in football. When Shedeur Sanders finally got his chance to show what he could do, the transformation was immediate and undeniable. This wasn't a nervous NFL rookie quarterback taking tentative steps into the professional ranks. This was a player who looked like he belonged, acting like he'd been there for years. His first few practices were a masterclass in confidence and preparation. Every throw was crisp and purposeful. His footwork was textbook perfect. His command of the huddle was that of a seasoned veteran, not someone who was supposedly unprepared for the moment. Teammates noticed immediately. Veterans who had seen dozens of rookies come and go started talking about Shedeur Sanders differently. They weren't using words like potential or promising. They were using words like special and ready. The coaching staff's excitement was barely contained. Position coaches who had spent years trying to develop quarterbacks suddenly had someone who seemed to understand concepts instinctively. Offensive coordinators who were used to simplifying playbooks for rookies found themselves opening up the entire system because this NFL rookie quarterback could handle it. His arm strength was obvious, but it was his decision-making that really impressed observers. He wasn't just throwing to open receivers. He was anticipating where receivers would be and putting the ball in perfect position. His ability to read defenses and audible at the line showed a football IQ that typically took years to develop. But perhaps most impressive was his composure under pressure. When pass rushes broke through, or plays broke down, Shedeur Sanders didn't panic. He stayed calm, kept his eyes downfield, and found ways to make positive plays out of negative situations. This was the kind of poise that championship quarterbacks were made of. The narrative was changing in real time, and everyone who had doubted him was starting to realize they might have been catastrophically wrong. Despite the mounting evidence that Shedeur Sanders was something special, the skeptics refused to admit they'd been wrong. They doubled down on their criticism, desperately searching for new angles to attack an NFL rookie quarterback who was systematically destroying their arguments. The most desperate critics tried to manufacture character concerns, suggesting that his confidence was actually arrogance, or that his family connections had somehow given him an unfair advantage. These attacks revealed more about the critics than they did about Shedeur Sanders. They were grasping at straws because their original assessments had been so spectacularly wrong. But with every practice, every interview, and every opportunity to showcase his skills, Shedeur Sanders continued to prove that the doubters had misjudged him completely. His football IQ wasn't just adequate, it was exceptional. His arm talent wasn't just good enough, it was elite. His leadership wasn't just promising, it was immediate and impactful. The critics who had been so certain of his limitations were running out of ammunition. Their predictions were aging poorly, and their credibility was taking a beating with every positive report that emerged from the team facility. Success on the practice field is one thing, but earning the respect of an NFL locker room is an entirely different challenge. Veteran players have seen countless rookies come through the doors full of confidence, only to crumble when the real pressure arrived. They don't give their respect freely, especially to young quarterbacks who are supposed to lead them. But Shedeur Sanders didn't just earn their respect. He commanded it from day one. His approach was perfect. Confident enough to show he belonged, but humble enough to listen and learn from veterans who had been in the league for years. The energy around the team changed almost immediately. Players who had been going through the motions suddenly started practicing with renewed intensity. Receivers ran routes with more precision because they knew their NFL rookie quarterback would put the ball exactly where it needed to be. Linemen blocked with more determination because they believed in the player they were protecting. This wasn't the typical rookie experience where teammates tolerate a young player while he learns the ropes. This was a group of professional athletes rallying around someone they genuinely believed could lead them to greatness. The chemistry was obvious to anyone who watched practice. and it was translating into improved performance across the entire offense. Coaches started talking about Shedeur Sanders in terms usually reserved for franchise quarterbacks. They weren't managing his development. They were unleashing his potential. The offense wasn't being dumbed down for a rookie. It was being expanded to take advantage of his unique skill set. The locker room transformation was perhaps the most telling sign that this NFL rookie quarterback was different from other young players. When veterans start following a rookie, when coaches start building their system around a first-year player, when the entire energy of a team shifts because of one person's presence, that's when you know you're witnessing something special. The foundation for sustained success was being laid, brick by brick, practice by practice. What Shedeur Sanders accomplished in his early NFL days went far beyond just proving he belonged in the league. He fundamentally challenged the conventional wisdom about how rookie quarterbacks were supposed to develop, and what kind of timeline was realistic for success. The traditional NFL rookie quarterback narrative involves struggles, growing pains, and a long learning curve filled with mistakes and gradual improvement. Teams typically expect to invest at least a full season, if not longer, before seeing meaningful contributions from a young quarterback. Shedeur Sanders threw that playbook out the window. His rapid ascension forced everyone to reconsider what was possible when natural talent met proper preparation and unshakable confidence. He wasn't just surviving in the NFL. He was thriving in ways that made veteran players and coaches take notice. The impact extended beyond just his individual performance. His success changed how teams might evaluate future rookie quarterbacks, how much weight they should give to practice reps versus natural ability, and how quickly they should be willing to trust young players with significant responsibilities. Media members who had initially questioned Shedeur Sanders' NFL readiness found themselves eating crow on a daily basis. The conversation evolved from, "Can this rookie quarterback handle the NFL?" to, "How far can this kid go?" The narrative shifted from damage control to championship possibilities. His story became an inspiration for other young quarterbacks who might not follow the conventional path to NFL readiness. It proved that sometimes the best preparation happens away from organized team activities, that football IQ can't always be measured in practice reps, and that the right combination of talent and confidence can overcome almost any obstacle. Most importantly, Shedeur Sanders showed that the critics and doubters, no matter how loud or numerous, don't get to determine a player's ceiling. Sometimes the best response to skepticism isn't words, it's results. From the first whispers of doubt, to Rich Eisen's passionate defense, to his incredible early success, Shedeur Sanders has proven that some NFL rookie quarterbacks are simply different. They don't need extra time to adjust or additional practice to be ready. They show up prepared to dominate from day one. The journey from questioned rookie to locker room leader didn't take years. It took weeks. The transformation from media target to franchise cornerstone happened in real time, with everyone watching and many people having to admit they were completely wrong in their initial assessments. Rich Eisen's defense of Shedeur Sanders will go down as one of the most prescient takes in recent sports media history. While others were nitpicking and finding reasons to doubt, Eisen saw what was actually happening and wasn't afraid to call out the lazy thinking that was masquerading as analysis. But the real story isn't about media coverage or public perception. It's about a young quarterback who refused to be defined by other people's limitations. Shedeur Sanders didn't just prove he belonged in the NFL. He proved that sometimes the most confident predictions come from the most unlikely sources, the players themselves. The critics have mostly gone quiet now, their arguments exposed as hollow, and their predictions proven wrong. The teammates who initially had to be won over are now believers. The coaches who might have planned to bring him along slowly are now building their entire system around his abilities. This is what happens when exceptional talent meets perfect preparation and unbreakable confidence. This is what happens when an NFL rookie quarterback refuses to accept other people's definitions of what's possible. This is the Shedeur Sanders story, and it's only just beginning. The league is watching, fans are buzzing, and the doubters are running out of excuses. Shedeur Sanders' NFL journey isn't just about playing quarterback. He's redefining what's possible for rookie quarterbacks everywhere. And if this is just the beginning, the best might be yet to come.